Now, building on such most important key word with which such a beautiful lover God has lovely and generously aimed getting his lover to know the truth, such a key word which is the proper. Let us directly go for the another proper main line, another proper detailed explanation which is coming as usual properly and already in its certain place as well, which is coming as usual properly and already in its certain place in such a beautiful bestow proving paradise complete building as well. Another mean line, another detailed explanation by of course such a beautiful lover God upon the truth that it is undoubtedly the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. The main line, which is properly and already with us now, is just let us stop fighting one another for proving who is the teacher, because the teacher is only one who is such a singular, beautiful lover God, while all of us as a God lovers, even the whole messengers, are actually just students. Notes also the teacher is only one who is such singular, beautiful lover God, while all of us as God lovers, including even the whole messengers, are actually just students. So, we reasonably no need to fight one another anymore for proving who is the teacher, while on the other hand, we also reasonably need to brotherly, mercifully, and sympathy compete one another for proving who is really the best real God lover, the best real lover to such his beautiful lover God as well. It's better here to remember that the proof upon the real love by the God lover to such his beautiful lover God is only by properly loving to him by of course such only proper way, which loving to him can never ever be real love without, which is the worshipping, meaning also the religion, which is no more no less but only such whole of course beautiful moralities represented or divided simply of course by such a beautiful love of God in two parts, in either all what it has to be properly done by the God lover as a real God lover, and also in all what it has not to be properly done, such a proper way that through which the God lover can then of course really proving his real loving to such his beautiful lover God as well. Notes here, please, that all what it has to be properly done means also equally and simply the legal, means also equally and simply in between brackets do that, while on the other hand all what it has not to be properly done means also equally and simply the illegal, means also equally and simply in between brackets don't ever at all do that. So again and again, let us stop fighting one another anymore for proving who is the teacher. The teacher is just only one. It is such a singular, beautiful love of God. So it's over. While on the other hand, we also reasonably need to brotherly, mercifully, and sympathy compete one another for proving who is the best real God lover to such his beautiful love of God as well. So now, just only some few detailed explanations remained, and the whole of such your beautiful love of God message is going to be summarized as a whole in between your hands. So, congratulations to either me because of being able to honestly inform you so that my eternal and complete happiness be completed as well. Also, congratulations to you too for being able to carefully listen and then be happy as well. But you must know that your int- your but you must know that your eternal and complete happiness can never ever be completed unless you honestly as well do your best as much as you can in informing and teaching the others who still don't know their own paradises. As such, your beautiful love of God sent the others to you for informing and teaching to you as well. Now we come then to the end of this episode. Here we are. The main lines of such few remain detailed explanations that will be shortly mentioned in the next few episodes as well, for of course attracting or paying your attention to the importance of not missing any one of them as well. Because once you will have very soon, shortly finished mentioning them, of course, each one as a God lover can then immediately and directly receive the key, can then immediately and directly take the key of such his own beautiful paradise building, with such, of course, a beautiful congratulation forever from such his beautiful lover God as well. Of course, it will be better after that for all of us as real God lovers, as much as we are still living all together in such this same first life, to keep then in touch with each others, for keep going on sharing our point of views around our own paradises, of course for more and more happiness for each one of us as well. Remember here that's of course why remember here that is of course why such a beautiful lover God has lovely and generously gathered the whole God lovers all together in such this same first life, which must of course be properly considered by each God lover as the first floor of such his own beautiful bestow proving paradise complete building as well. So see in the next episodes. Such a detailed explanation that must be properly understood about the conception of the real beauty, how to properly understand and then taste and deal with the real beauty, as a one of such bestow proving preparations, which must all totally be considered as the real bestowed proving paradise building, which also means the bestowed proving building by such a beautiful love of God upon the truth that it is undoubtedly the truth, not anything else. As a matter of fact, we actually still have a problem so far in understanding such right conception of the real beauty. Also, this detailed explanation will reasonably and directly take us to another next detailed explanation as well, which is such a beautiful holy blue that has been lovely and generously blown by such a beautiful love of God for just then represented as will in such real bestow proving paradises building. Each one God lover has already got his own beautiful paradise building that he has been created in, specifically in the first floor of it. Also another detailed explanation that must be properly understood about Adam and his wife Eve, who have never ever been at all dismissed from the paradise as some improperly misunderstand. Also, another detailed explanation that must be properly understood about Adam and his wife Eve, who have never ever been at all dismissed from the paradise, as some people improperly misunderstand so far. As a matter of fact, it was only just first one of those educational lessons by such beautiful lover God for teaching the first both God lovers how really such a dear beautiful lover God deserves to be properly loved as well. Such important first lesson that was made, of course, the first one, so that it must never ever at all be forgotten later on by any God lover anymore as well. Such important first lesson, which is, don't ever at all think improperly in such incomparable bestowed proving generosity by such a beautiful lover God toward the God lover. Such incomparable bestow proving generosity, which is the most obvious proof upon such incomparable kind of love by such a beautiful lover God toward the God lover, because this improper thinking leads to more and more improper thinking, which as well of course means more and more steps toward getting yourself outside the paradise, where nothing then of course over there but only the hell, meaning exactly the unhappiness. So we will know more and more about Adam and his wife Eve, who both were the first couple of God lovers. Also both them were such first couple of male and female. Also both of them were such first parent, first father and first mother. We will also obviously know why especially Adam, the male, who has been created first, not Eve, the female. Why not? Also, another detailed explanation that must be properly understood about such a beautiful lover God never ever at all aimed whatever any little kind of punishment to his lover, neither in this first world life nor in the hereafter as well. Also, another detailed explanation that must be properly understood about, have you ever been told that the most proper place of such a beautiful paradise complete building of both only you and such a beautiful lover God is your heart, meaning your mind? Another detailed explanation that must be properly understood about such a beautiful paradise building is the most ever big message from such a beautiful lover God to each God lover. Now, building on such most important keyword with which such a beautiful lover God has lovely and generously aimed getting his lover to know the truth, such keyword which is the proper. Let us directly go for another proper main line, another proper detailed explanation, which is coming as usual properly and already in its certain place as well, which is coming as usual properly and already in its certain place in such a beautiful bestow proving paradise complete building as well. Another main line, another detailed explanation by of course such a beautiful lover God upon the truth that it is undoubtedly the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. The main line, which is properly and already with us now, is such holy plume that has been lovely and generously plumed by such beautiful lover God for just then represented in real bestowed proving paradises buildings. Each one God lover has already got his own beautiful paradise building which he has been created in, specifically in the first floor of it. Now let us listen to this beautiful answer about a beautiful question which indicates to a beautiful God lover mind who really cares to carefully read such a beautiful God message to him for understanding the right understanding, meaning understanding exactly what such a beautiful lover God wants his lover to understand as well. The question is, in such a beautiful lover God message, God tells to his lover that the creating of both heavens and earth has taken a period of time, specifically 6 days. So, isn't such a beautiful lover God who has created the time factor and everything else? Yes, of course he is. And that's why, of course, that God is not subject at all either, neither to the time factor nor anything else, while everything are completely neat and subject to him. Of course, that's right. So, what about mentioning to this period of 6 days in the message, of course, by such a beautiful love of God? Of course, by such a beautiful love of wisdom, God. This is the question. The answer simply, of course, by such a beautiful love of wisdom, God is. Such a beautiful lover God has explained to his lover that such his beautiful aim behind start creating, which is the aim of what? That's right. Such a beautiful lover God has explained to his lover that such a beautiful God aim behind start creating must be simply considered as just only one beautiful holy plume of such a beautiful God spirit that of course has been lovely and generously blown by of course such a beautiful love of God. For of course making all creatures as a whole being imaged at once in such those beautiful paradises complete buildings, meaning such that beautiful eternal and complete happiness buildings as well. Each one God lover will get his own beautiful paradise complete building, meaning will get such his own beautiful eternal and complete happiness building, meaning also that the creatures themselves are being the graces, they also themselves are being the happiness, and they also themselves are being the happy habitants of such beautiful paradises, complete buildings as well. Remember here that each one God lovers has got his own beautiful paradise complete building, meaning also that the happiness as a grace is just only one of those creatures kinds of such a beautiful paradise complete building. Also love as a grace is just only one of those beautiful creatures kinds as well. Also human as a happy habitant is just only one of those beautiful creatures kinds of such a beautiful paradise complete building. Also the eyes, ears, hands, minds, such a beautiful God message, messengers, the light of the knowledge, the word letters and its meaning, angels, heavens and earths. This first world life, which of course is the first floor of such a paradise complete building of each one God lover. Stars, sun, moon, day and night, seas, rivers, fresh air, plants, trees, flowers. Also the proving preparations, which is a time is just and only one preparation of it. Also such proving preparations of course as graces must all undoubtedly considered as just a creature's kinds of such a beautiful paradise complete building as well. Such a beautiful paradise complete building, meaning such that beautiful eternal and complete happiness building as well, that can never ever be paradise, meaning can never ever be happiness at all without the whole parts of the building all together as well. So Now, as we can obviously see, that the time is just only a one part of such a beautiful paradise complete building. So that's why it has to be mentioned by such a beautiful lover God as well as just only one of those metaphorical educational examples that has been lovely and generously inspired by of course such a beautiful lover God to his lover for just explaining to him so that he can understand what it has to be exactly understand as well. As a matter of fact, the time factor, which includes years, months, days, and nights, is just only one of those proving preparations which are mainly considered as bestowed proving graces by God upon His lover, just only in this first world life. And this first world life, as we as we now already know, means, of course, the first floor of such a beautiful paradise complete building of the God lover. And such a beautiful paradise complete building, as we now already know, means such a beautiful eternal and complete happiness building of the God lover that can never ever be complete building of happiness, meaning can never ever be a complete building paradise of God lover without the whole of its certain parts altogether. Each certain part must be in its certain place. So the time is just only a one of those certain parts in such a beautiful paradise complete building of the God lover. So that's why it must be still in its certain place, meaning the time factor must be existent in only this first world life, while it will not be existed at all later on in such highest floors of such a beautiful paradise complete building of the God lover. So that's also why it had to be mentioned in such a beautiful God message by of course such a beautiful lover wisdom God to his lover as well, while also on the other hand before start creating of course by such a beautiful lover God. Of course, it was no time at all, because it was none at all, but only such a singular, beautiful lover God alone, who of course wasn't and still forever isn't subject to neither the time factor nor anything else at all, because the time is just only one of more and more creatures' kinds, which of course has been lovely and generously created, meaning prepared by such a beautiful lover God as just a part of such a beautiful paradise complete building as a whole, just only for the God lover, meaning for of course making the God lover living such eternal and complete happiness, which means the paradise. So now each one of us of course completely understand such a beautiful lover God wisdom behind mentioning in the message such that metaphorical educational example of those 6 days period relating to the creating of heavens and earths as well. So from now on, just remember that you can then go on for understanding simply from such your beautiful lover God in such this simple way that such your beautiful lover God himself, who has lovely and generously established, just for make it easy for you to understand from him what he exactly wants you to understand, meaning simply that whenever you find yourself is not being able sometimes to simply understand a certain part in the message, all you have got to do is just interpreting it as of course a one of such proving preparations which are undoubtedly being considered as a kind of bestowed proving graces, meaning as a part of such beautiful paradise complete building that can never ever be at all a paradise building without what? That's right, without the whole of its parts altogether without the whole of its parts altogether. That's all of it. So from now on, just remember that you can then go on for understanding simply from such your beautiful lover God in such this simple way, that such your beautiful lover God himself, who has lovely and generously established, just for make it easy for you to understand from him what he exactly wants you to understand, meaning simply that whenever you find yourself is not being able sometimes to simply understand a certain part in the message, all you have got to do is just interpreting it to yourself as of course a one of such proving preparations, which are undoubtedly being considered as a kind of bestow proving graces, meaning as a part of such a beautiful paradise complete building that can never ever be at all a paradise building without what? That's right, without the whole of its parts altogether. That's all of it. So, for such a beautiful lover God, holy blue, of course it doesn't mean a cigarette smoking blue by such a beautiful lover God, but it properly indicates to such of course uncountable and incomparable kind of bestowing, proving love, which is such a beautiful lover God has lovely and generously aimed start the creation with, lovely and generously aimed start each creature with such uncountable and incomparable kind of bestowing proving love, which properly and exactly represented in such uncountable bestow proving happiness by such uncountable bestow proving graces that all must be considered by the God lover as his own beautiful paradise complete building, which is also exactly the proving building or the building of the proof upon the truth that it is undoubtedly the truth, not anything else. So once again, please. So for such beautiful lover God, holy blue, of course it doesn't mean a cigarette smoking blue by such a beautiful lover God, but it properly indicates to such of course uncountable and incomparable kind of bestowing, proving love, which is such a beautiful lover God has lovely and generously aimed started the creation with, lovely and generously aimed start each creature with, such uncountable and incomparable kind of bestowing proving love, such uncountable and incomparable kind of bestowing proving love, which properly and exactly represented in such uncountable bestowing proving happiness by such uncountable bestowing proving graces that all must be considered by the God lover as his own beautiful paradise complete building, which is also exactly the proving building or the building of the proof upon the truth that it is undoubtedly the truth, not anything else. Now, building on such most important key word, with which such a beautiful lover God has lovely and generously aimed getting his lover to know the truth, such a key word which is the proper. Let us directly go for the another proper main line, another proper detailed explanation, which is coming as usual properly and already in its certain place as well, which is coming as usual properly and already in its certain place in such a beautiful bestowed proving paradise complete building as well. Another main line, another detailed explanation by of course such a beautiful lover God upon the truth that it is undoubtedly the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. The mean line, which is properly and already with us now, is the mean line, which is properly and already with us now, is. Have you ever been told that the most proper place of such a beautiful paradise complete building of both only you and such your beautiful lover God is your heart, meaning your mind? Now, as you can obviously see from all previous detailed explanations, and as you will also still obviously see from the next explanations as well, the importance of such important notes of remembering always that there is proper things that must be considered whenever the talk will be about the Creator, who is such a pitiful of a God, while on the other hand, there are other proper things that must be considered whenever the talk will be about the Creator, who is the God lover as well. As a matter of fact, such death As a matter of fact, such these important notes can be simply considered as the key that can smoothly open to you the exact understanding to such whole your beautiful love of God message, detailed explanations, words. Meaning your understanding what it has to be understood. Meaning what such your beautiful love of God has lovely, generously, and properly aimed at getting you to exactly understand. Which exactly means the key of your own beautiful paradise complete building as well. So, it is so easy for you to always remember such important notes. All what you have got to do is just bringing always, all the time into your mind the key word which is the proper. Then you deserve to be lovely and generously congratulated forever by such a beautiful love of God as well. So congratulations. Of course, as we can obviously know, when someone is going to get an important job in one of those important fields, such as the diplomacy field or big hotels field, and so on, well, the employee, of course, will communicate or deal with more and more guests who are VIPs. Of course, there are proper things that must be properly considered in such places because of such VIPs as well. Like, such as courtesy, discipline, and so on. While as we can see, such same proper things may not be properly considered as it has to be in some other places as well. So just imagine, what about if such that most beautiful important job you will get will be the job of the God lover, and also the place of your job will be the most beautiful place as well. It will be such a beautiful paradise of both eternal loving in between you and your beautiful lover God as well. In such a beautiful paradise, in such a beautiful paradise of only both you and such your beautiful lover God, both you and your beautiful wife as God lovers will be lovely and generously served as VIPs as well. Because who honestly cares about properly loving such his beautiful lover God by such of course a proper way, which means the worshipping, meaning the religion, of course deserves to be lovely and generously served as a guest who is a VIP, rather to say as a VIG. Also, some of your VIGs over there will include your family members, parents, brothers, sisters, sons, daughters, but just in case they were already real God lovers in their first life as well, meaning just in case they were always honestly caring as well about properly loving such their beautiful lover God by such of course proper way, which means the worshipping, meaning the religion, meaning such whole beautiful moralities. So that's of course why they also deserve to be generously served as VIGs as well. It's also better here to know that your first guest before all your VIGs as a whole will be of course such your beautiful lover God, who is the creator of either those VIPs, VIGs, and also is the creator of everything else as well. So, as you can, of course, obviously see, no need here at all to say, imagine then what proper things that must be considered in such most beautiful relation of love in between both you and such your beautiful lover God as well. Why? Because simply such a beautiful lover God himself has already simply, lovely and generously explained either all what it has properly to be done by the God lover and also all what it has not properly to be done as well. So that's of course why then rather to say, what are you waiting for? Just go ahead. All you have got to do is just to consider either all what it has properly to be done by the God lover and also just to consider as well all what it has not properly to be done, so that you then deserve to be lovely and generously congratulated forever by such a beautiful lover God. So congratulations. So congratulations, and don't wonder then if you will know that such a beautiful lover God has exactly said, it's of course not only one paradise for all God lovers as a whole, but there are undoubtedly so many paradises. Each one God lover has already got his own paradise complete building, where he has been already created in as well, specifically in the first and the lowest floor of it, meaning this world life. Rather to say, his own world life. Also, I have lovely, generously and properly made such eternal and beautiful paradise of both only me and each one of my lovers, being the same paradise of such only both beautiful permanent lovers, just only me and my lover as well. Also, I have lovely, generously and properly aimed, assigning that the proper place of such this beautiful eternal paradise being specifically and already the heart, meaning the mind of each real God lover. For of course getting him always, always, always to remember that it is properly going to be the beautiful eternal paradise of me, as well as it is itself also going to be properly the same beautiful eternal paradise of him as well. So as long as he always cares about properly permitting me to get in my paradise, of course I will then also properly permit him getting in his paradise as well. Meaning also simply that the more he always cares about properly remembers me in his heart, meaning in his mind, meaning the more he always cares about properly loving me, meaning the more he always cares about worshipping me by the religion, by the whole beautiful moralities, the more he can then also properly, safely keep himself staying always in such his beautiful eternal paradise as well. And of course you will still remember that your loving to me means you're worshipping me, also means as well such you respectfully and gratefully thanking to me, also means such you're practicing the religion which is no more no less but such whole beautiful moralities represented in what it has to be properly done by the God lover, and also what it has not as well, through which the God lover can then prove his real proper love to such his beautiful lover God as well. While the more he carelessly forgets about properly loving me, the more his paradise will surely be less and less wide. Not only that, but also, once he completely forgets properly loving me, he will find himself completely outside his paradise, where nothing but only nothing, meaning nothing at all, can be gained, meaning unhappiness, which metaphorically named by me the hell, the hellfire. And he then becomes nothing as well. While on the other hand, once he comes back again for caring about properly remembering me in his heart, meaning in his mind, meaning once he starts intending coming back again for properly loving me, meaning once he starts intending again caring about properly permitting me to get in my paradise once again, he will at once find himself being already again in his beautiful eternal paradise as well. Notes here, as you will obviously see, step by step, of course by my simply explaining to you that the hell is not a real thing. It is just and only one of those metaphorical educational examples. Of course, I never ever at all burn my lovers. All of it is just that I have by my wisdom aimed in inspiring to my lover such that proper kind of an inspiration with which he can then be able to simply distinguish between the truth, which is really a real thing, with an of course real existence, and what is not the truth, which means just and only a metaphoric, meaning neither of course is a real thing, nor also is a real existence as well. So that's of course why I have reasonably created the metaphor, so that the God lover can then simply distinguish between the real and the unreal, meaning between what it is undoubtedly the truth and what is not, meaning distinguish between what it is properly proper and what is not. Now we come to the end of this episode. Till we meet again in the next episode, I love you.